there's probably 200 or 300 dead walrus on like a half-mile stretch of beach here. They're exhausted because they're having to swim 100 miles now to get to food, and then coming back here because it's the only place to sleep. They used to sleep on the ice, dive down, eat the food, sleep on the ice, easy. And now they're swimming 100 miles, coming to this place, climbing cliffs, and they're just exhausted and falling down and either being killed falling or just crushing each other because there's several thousand crammed onto little tiny bits of beaches.
This is the sad reality of climate change. They'd be on the ice right now if they could be.
While it is not a new phenomenon, indeed there is evidence of walruses dying in such a way before. The increasing number of animals and heights from which they are falling demonstrate a correlation between fatalities and climate change. While this behavior may seem foolish, the walruses are acting out of desperation, not through choice. Thus, they are forced higher and higher up the cliffs in order to achieve a comfortable distance. Unfortunately, their eyesight is particularly poor above water, and when taken with the overcrowding on the cliff face, many lose their footing and fall up to hundreds of feet to their death. This is just one of a plethora of instances where we can see the detrimental effects of climate change on the natural world. Walruses are a keystone species to the Arctic ecosystem due to their essential ecological role. By tailing the seafloor via bioturbation, walruses are vital in cycling the sediments and nutrients in the long term. While originally the walrus was indispensable due to this ecological role, their growing retreat range from the northern climates is diminishing their value in the benthic ecosystem.
Walruses typically spend their winters on the Bering Sea ice pack before migrating towards the Chukchi Sea along with the seasonally retreating sea ice. The reason for this migration is that the walruses depend on this sea ice lest they be left out in the open ocean. They have the lowest reproduction rate of all pinnipeds. Thus, each loss of life is of relatively greater significance to their overall population size. Furthermore, walrus cats are a particularly popular prey amongst polar bears and killer whales.
Hauling out plays a vital role in the life of every walrus. They need ice to rest, breed, birth, and nurse. It is essential that walruses have ice to haul out on.
So in the 70s, since the modern record began tracking to today, there's variation from year to year, but it's really just a downward trend.
Satellite observations show that Arctic sea ice is not only shrinking in extent, it is also becoming younger and thinner.
Naturally, this would force the walruses to haul out on other locations closer to land, such as coast and near shores. It is clear then that these levels of ice are forcing walruses to travel increasingly large distances in order to find adequate foraging grounds.
In 2017, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service noted that cliff falls are a relatively anomalous case of death for walruses during haulouts. They cited data from Chukotka in 2007 that suggested that to a great extent, the majority of deaths were caused by stampeding and trampling, not from cliff falls. While the event found by the Our Planet camera crew documented cliff falls for walruses, this may only be a part of the greater threat to walruses. Decreasing sea ice is pushing more and more walruses to haul out on land, increasing the likelihood and death rates of these events. The Chukchi people suggest that they have noticed longer haul out times because the ice has broken up a month earlier.
There needs to be a call to action to protect Arctic ice. Unfortunately, this seems to be something of an inevitable problem. Despite this, we have the ability to manage the rate at which this process progresses, thus preserving the ice for the animals that so rely on it. Relative to the rest of the world, the Arctic is arguably climate change's most significant victim. If each of us can make the smallest individual changes, we can buy these animals extra years on the ice, which, at the moment, it does not look like they will have. Changes in diet, travel distance, consumption of various goods, and even family size can all help to limit these devastating effects. It is only by protecting this ice to the best of our abilities that we can limit fatalities of such a distressing nature. Walruses are helpless in the battle against global warming. We, however, are not.